What is a trauma bond? Hi, I'm Sharzad Morgan, author of What I Did for Sex, escort, porn model, and life coach. To me, you can Google the term. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about it, explaining some of the more severe cases. But to me, it's anytime I have a strong emotional attachment to a man where he's not treating me in a way that's healthy, where I'm left feeling anxious, for example. That's my pattern for going for unavailable men, but it could also be for women who are with someone who sexually abuses them, someone who's neglectful or abuses you, or you're walking on eggshells. It's unhealthy love. Healthy love, just think about healthy love. Think about the love that you have maybe with a pet or with a good friend, someone who treats you really well. It's just warm and it's nourishing and it's safe and it's secure. And love is safe and secure. Real love is safe and secure. The problem is many of us had childhoods, and I'm talking about early childhood up to age 5 or 7, where love was not secure. There was chaos in the home, unavailability, parents who were loving but distracted, where children felt abandoned or they were abused. And as adults, we look for love that feels familiar unless we've done some therapy around it. And so a trauma bond is looking for that kind of familiar, unhealthy love that has either that longing or that insecurity or that fear or the drama or the chaos of our childhood home. For me, for example, I would fall, if you read my book, What I Did for Sex, or the Fuck List, go to my website, whatididforsex.com. That's in the description. You'll also see my book, The Fuck List. They're basically the same. After my divorce, I really experienced this heavily, where I would hook up with these guys and sometimes I would just have feelings for them, and sometimes for women too. Not all of them, just a few, but I would have these really strong feelings and attachment, and I would just cry over these people. I didn't know what the hell was happening. Those were trauma bonds. They were unavailable. They were uninterested in me, but I still wanted them. A healthy person would say, "You're not interested in me? I don't want people who are uninterested in me." But I wanted them anyway, and I didn't even know them. Maybe there were aspects of trauma bonding at the end of my marriage where I really longed for my husband and he couldn't give me what I wanted, but I stayed and I thought it was okay. I didn't see the pattern. That's the thing. I came up with this word trauma bond watching a video by Jenna Ryan. I made a video about her specifically. She has a YouTube channel called Self Love You, the letter U. And she made a video about this. I had over 1 million views. It went viral, where she talked about you're not longing for your ex, you're longing for the parent or the caregiver who didn't give you what you wanted. A little side note on Jenna Ryan. I do watch Waldorf Nation News. I love his stuff. He's really good. He's super liberal, progressive. And he had a thing on about a week ago, and he was talking about people arrested at the Capitol. He had a picture of a woman there on the backdrop, and I'm like, fuck, that's Jenna Ryan. And sure enough, as he started talking, he said, and Texas realtor Jenna Ryan, I guess she was one of the rioters at the Capitol, and then she said she was really embarrassed that she believed, the election was stolen. But nonetheless, she used to go for narcissists, and she did the self-love workbook, which I have here, the inner bonding workbook, which after I saw her video last November, I started going on this journey. I had fallen for this gentleman in October. If you go back to my videos in October, you'll see I was talking about this gentleman that I really fell for that was not treating me well. He wasn't moving things forward. He wasn't keeping his word. But yet I had built a strong attraction to him, despite the fact that he wasn't treating me well. And when he blew off our second date, I even said, I forgive you, because I was practicing the John Gray principles of forgiving a man who apologizes. Later realizing those are privileges for men in a relationship, not for someone I'm still trying to only have one date with. I was just so anxious to just practice all these relationship things. But nonetheless, I felt a lot of anxiety around this guy. And I didn't realize what was happening. And at the same time, I also had this incident with this woman who was going to be my coach. I started feeling some things around that. And I felt like love was out here. I started energetically feeling like I was leaving myself to think about these people. And I saw her video. I'm just telling you how it felt to me to be in a trauma bond. And I was like leaving myself and feeling love as something out there. So I did my energetic healing practice around that. And that helped a lot. And then Jenna Ryan's video helped a lot. Since I have to redo my video and save it backwards, I might as well hold up my books. The Fuck List. It would make such a good movie. I still want to see this made into a movie. A trauma bond is having this obsession, this emotional attachment that a child would have to a mother or father, having it toward an adult friend, usually a romantic partner, who is, having those feelings toward a romantic partner, because people who treat us well don't bring out those feelings in us. So, for example, if I'm with someone who's not that interested in me, a healthy person would just be like, you're not meeting my needs, you're not that interested in me, so I don't really want to pursue this. Whereas the trauma bond would keep trying to chase someone who's uninterested or not meeting your needs or abusing you or being neglectful. It's an activated attachment system. Real love feels safe. It feels secure. It's heart-opening. It doesn't create anxiety or chaos or drama. These obsessive feelings come from, I don't know if I'm going to see you again now. Sometimes people can be anxiously attached and create their own drama. For example, they feel this real need to be around this other person. But the other person isn't creating it. They're creating it themselves because they're anxiously attached. A trauma bond is from this person is not treating you well and you want them anyway. That's what I call a trauma bond. There are cases where people create their own trauma, where they're really insecure, they need constant reassurance, even though their partner isn't doing anything to cause it. They're just creating it in their mind because they were abandoned as children. That's different. They're creating their own trauma. They're just reliving their own trauma. I try to be like very cognizant of when I'm interacting with people that I don't activate any of their wounds. I wouldn't consciously try to activate any of people's wounds. I feel like this is a very important area. If people's wounds are activated, what they really need to do is heal their own wounds so they're not so activated. But the things that would activate this for me and the attachment system is I would put someone on a pedestal, fantasize about a person that had no interest in me, or I would, I would be interested in someone who wanted nothing to do with me, who was inconsistent, who didn't keep their word, and who was somehow unavailable. That was my trauma bond. Liking people who were unavailable. My ex-husband was unavailable to me, emotionally unavailable. So that's something I really look for now in my friends. And I want to say this workbook has helped me a lot. I've really made a lot of progress in my life since October when this guy blew me off. And I made a video, I think, before thanking him for coming into my life, because it really forced me to go inside myself and see like what was going on with the trauma bond. I hope that answered your questions. Ultimately, when I'm chasing someone other than myself, I've abandoned myself. When I feel abandoned, I've abandoned myself, is really what it is. And it's easy to heal that by just giving yourself attention. Like, what am I feeling? Let me attend to my own feelings and comfort myself. It's a lot of pieces sometimes to it, but these trauma bond relationships are extremely painful. They're not nourishing relationships. They leave people feeling frustrated, anxious, sad, angry. And I want to say one more thing. If you've been in a relationship a long time, you might have issues that come up in your relationship that might not be trauma bonds. It could just be some neglect has crept in. You haven't been feeding and nourishing your relationship. These trauma bonds come up very early in the relationship. Like for me, it's after I had met a guy once, or I haven't even met him. And these feelings come up. Also, instantly liking someone is a red flag. Like this instant attraction to someone is usually a red flag for familiarity. I know this person reminds me of one of my parents. This person is enlivening some inner fantasy or wound, because people naturally don't, it's not normal to feel this sudden, you don't know that person. Like, how could you really love that person or want that person? It's either just physical attraction or it's a trauma bond. That's what I think. I don't know everything. I'm still learning. Leave your comments. Thanks for watching my video.